health, financial, and home improvement. Enjoy being educated in such topics as personal injury law, community association law, family law, bankruptcy law, along with health show topics like pain management, men's health, and dental implants. Now, sit back and enjoy today's Ask the Experts with host Steve-O.
Hey, good evening. It's another Ask the Expert show. We're on every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. drive time. We also have a political show on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. That's tomorrow night. And the only kind of guests we bring in are people that no one else can get. We have the top political people, mostly nationally, call into our show. Today's show was supposed to be about family law with Tina Lourdes. Now, we're waiting on her, but I got to tell you, I cannot speak on family law for 30 minutes. There is no way. I've been divorced one time, and I want to forget about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what's going on in the world today, because it is crazy out there. And from the emails that I get, a lot of you still don't understand. This is not a put down at all, but you get so many mixed messages through even Fox TV. I've had it with them. CNN, MSNBC. You listen to any of those four stations, you are going to be confused. So I'm going to try to walk you through this tonight. And I really feel bad because I know a lot of you feel like you've been on a roller coaster. One day it looks good, one day it looks bad, good, bad. Listen, it's the same thing for me. And we have contacts. We have contacts from the White House, and things change on a daily basis. If you haven't noticed, Facebook, Twitter, Parler today, they've all gotten rid of the president. Think about this. The president of the United States has been taken off Facebook, Twitter. Parler has been shut down because of the kind of content they run on there. So I spoke to a friend of mine today who really likes Trump, and he said last Wednesday did him in that Trump caused the riot, if you want to call it that. And I'm going to tell you, I asked him a question. I said, what did he say that caused that? Oh, he caused it. And I said, well, what did he say that would make you think that he caused it? Oh, he told people to go down there. I said, well, let me tell you what he actually said. His actual words were, I know you're going to the Capitol after this. And he said, when you go down there, do it peacefully and patriotically. He said, that's all I'm asking of you. Now, how in the world do you get, he sent people down there to riot? Now, we're finding out more and more information every day. It's funny, we haven't found out anything about the lady who had the MAGA hat on, who was killed by Secret Service. We don't hear anything about her. But what we are starting to hear is that Antifa was out there. They were out there even when Trump was speaking. And they got mixed into the crowd. Now, I'm not saying everyone at that Capitol building was Antifa. But conservatives don't go breaking windows and demolishing buildings. I mean, if you haven't learned that, just look at Portland or Seattle. That's what Antifa does. They go and they burn buildings down. They don't care about any property at all. They don't care about business. Conservatives, I would say 95% of them, that is not what conservatives do. I mean, if you heard about the type of people who are out there, there were families out there. There were children out there. And there are some bad apples, just like, I support and love our police, but there's some bad apples out there. He did not say one word to cause that. And if you think he did, you can call me right now at 888-565-1470 and tell me why I'm wrong and tell me where to go look at something you read. So my friend said, well, he should have told people. Well, got to remember, these people had already gone to the Capitol building. What was he supposed to do? Go down there and talk to them? First of all, Antifa doesn't care what President Trump has to say. It's funny, we're getting word now that Nancy Pelosi's laptop, along with 20 other congressmen and senators, laptops were taken. Now, some people are saying it's the guy who was sitting in Pelosi's office. I've heard different. I've heard that there were military ops there that used that to get Nancy Pelosi's laptop. I mean, you can't say that's crazier than, some guy sitting in her chair wearing a Nancy Pelosi lantern. Maybe they did get her laptop. Think about this. She's trying to impeach our president when he's going to be out of office in 9 days. Now, why would someone do that? In 9 days, he's out, supposedly. She's acting very suspicious. Like maybe they found things on her. And she wants to get him out of office as soon as possible. But somebody, if you have a better thought than I do, why is she rushing this when she doesn't have to? Listen, I have stuck my neck out on what I think is going to happen. And it's funny, people will say I'm crazy. And listen, I might be. On January 20th, Biden might be the president. But I have 3 or 4 people that I really trust. And 3 of them have a lot to lose if they're wrong. Their whole reputation will be gone. I really think, God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Freddie's going to kill me. I really think Biden will not be the president on January 20th. There's a lot of things going on. The president signed an executive order 2 years ago that states if we're under a state of emergency, that he has to stay in charge. No president can come in. And we're finding out, did you know that, I'm going to ask Freddie this. Freddie, did you know that China was trying to buy half of GE? Did you know that? Okay, we got 1 out of 2 here. So GE, I didn't know that. GE makes the engines for this new plane that we have out there. Now, can you imagine we go to war with China and China owns half of that plane, understands that plane? Listen, if you haven't learned by now, Trump does not want to go to war. He has proved that. He's taken people out of war when the generals didn't want him to. He doesn't want to go to war. So they had to stop this sale. But what they haven't stopped is China has bought 3 major auto manufacturers. Not the whole thing, but 2 of them are at 40% of their companies. And what they're doing is they're buying, just offering them crazy money for that. But again, a way to get into the United States. There are farmers out there that are coming up and saying that China just came to them to buy their land, and they're giving them 3 times the amount. These people have no reason to lie. China is trying to take over the United States. And as crazy as that sounds, I'm telling you, there are things that as China are doing that the president considers a national emergency, along with COVID. Virus, are you holding up your hand, Freddie?
I gotta tell you, China owns GE appliances since 2016. GE appliances.
I know it's fine, but they tried to buy GE, the division that makes the planes. Yeah, it's not going to be on because they didn't buy it. They stopped it. But they're getting their hands on everything. Mike Pompeo has told you that. So we have a president that's trying to keep China out of the United States. And this is all, I mean, this every day it's a new thing about China. So he signed this executive order 2 years ago. Why do you think he would sign an executive order? Maybe because he knows a lot more than we do. The job of the president is our security. That's his biggest job, is our security and the economy. You saw what he did with the economy. You cannot take COVID as part of that and blame that on Trump. He had the economy roaring. Now, if you haven't looked at the stock market lately, I mean, it's insane. I think it was off today. So we have a president that's trying to protect us, and we don't know everything. And look what the social media platform people have done to them. Today, his golf course in New Jersey, part of the PGA Tour, PGA is taking away where he cannot have a PGA tournament there. Why are these people doing all this to him? Because of a speech that he made that doesn't even cause a riot? I think you're going to be finding out something in the next 2 to 5 days. Because, you know, if you look at the new supposedly president should be trying to unite us. If you heard his last speech, there's nothing in that speech that would unite us. All he talked about is how terrible of a president Trump was and how you can't trust him. He's the biggest liar. And the best thing that Trump has said is he's not coming to his inauguration. Here's a vice president who's never done anything. Never. In 44 years has never done a thing. Even the small thing he did with the virus they had, his own people said he did a horrible job. You can't sit in your basement while people out there stumping like President was every night and get 80 million votes. There are people now, the guy who invented the barcode, this guy is a genius, respected by everybody. He said, no way. And he's not even a conservative. He said, no way that Biden got the amount of votes he got. Now, there's some things going on I don't know if I believe or not. But maybe kind of watch Italy and the Vatican and the Pope over the next 3 or 4 days. 2 years ago, or not 2 years, a year ago, Attorney General Barr was in Italy investigating, and that's all they said. And it didn't make any sense. What's he investigating in Italy? Now we're finding out that the votes were being changed in Italy. And you can call me crazy if you want, but you know what? Do some research. Stop listening to CNN and MSNBC. Stop listening to them, because you know what? They don't even talk about Hunter Biden. And they are finding, it's amazing when you hear a journalist saying, wow, I can't even talk to you about what we have found on Hunter Biden's laptops. Why hasn't the FBI done anything? Why hasn't they've had his laptops for a year and a half? How come nothing has happened to Hunter Biden? They are so deep. Thank God for this show. They are so deep in the swamp with what's going on with the Bidens. There was a great eyewitness that came on, and I believe he was on Tucker Carlson. This guy was involved with one of their deals. He met with Biden, Joe Biden, not once but twice. This guy has no reason to lie. He was high up in the military. He's got proof of everything he said. And that showed that Joe Biden is involved with the same thing they went after Trump about. You don't hear anything about him. The media buries it. And I'm just hoping that the things that I've been hearing about what Trump has planned really comes true. I've got to be careful what I say. But remember, 3 people who I really trust have said Trump will be our president on the 20th. Maybe the 21st, I'm the biggest fool in the world. But you got to pick somebody to believe. And I happen to believe 3 people who are very, very close to the White House who have no reason to lie. Now you go, well, how come anything hasn't happened yet? Well, things change every day. But right now, and you can go, and Freddie, I know Freddie will do this. You know, Pakistan has been blacked out for the last 2 days, and nothing is being said about it. I don't know if, can you Google that, Freddie? I mean, what do you Google? Pakistan blackout. Okay. But you don't hear about that. And the voting went through Pakistan as well as Italy, as well as it's back up. Okay. But it was down.
19 hours.
19 hours. Did you see anything about it on the news? Nothing. There are, and I think there's another country right now that the power is out. And these are the same countries that voting was changed. Because, the guy came up from Georgia and said, there's no modems. I mean, they're not connected to anything. And they already proved that he was a big liar. Now, why did he come out and say that when they've already proven that these machines, you can change them you can change the votes from anywhere in the country. And it's going to come out. We have to have this come out. I mean, one of the things that Biden said the other day was one of the first things he wants to do is tear down, listen to this one, he wants to tear down the southern wall that the president just put up. Those are our tax dollars. He wants to let... Now, wait, Freddie, everything I said been true so far? Biden wants to tear down the southern wall so everybody can come in. They're already finding out, and we've had the guy who's head of the what do you call the guys on the wall? Our security. Can't think of it. His name is Mike Morgan. Mark Morgan. He's head of the security on the wall. He was just on TV last night, and they're coming in droves again because they know Biden's coming in. They've already found 30% of the kids have COVID. Now, these kids are all coming in the United States. If they don't go through the door, which I call it, those people are going to be spreading COVID like there's no tomorrow. And Biden doesn't care. Going to let everybody come in. Look at the money they're getting ready to spend. You know, if you have a college loan that you owe on, it's going to depend on how much you make now. But there's going to be a lot of forgiving of loans. Someone's going to have to pay for that, though. Guess who? You and I. I mean, it's nice being charitable, but when people sign up to go to college, like I did, I knew I had to pay for it. No one was going to bail me out. And now he's going to bail all those people out who owe money. Can you imagine the people who paid off their college loans? If I were them, I would be upset, because they're not going to get any of that money back. They're going to tear down everything that President Trump did. You might not like his personality. You know what? That's up to you. But if you look at what this president has done for this country, it's funny. All I keep hearing is, oh, he's doing it for himself to make money. First of all, the middle class, which they always failed to mention, got a nice little tax deduction. People are getting more on their checks than they used to. That's not for the rich. That's for the middle class. How much more do you have? I mean, how does anybody vote for Joe Biden? And especially 80 million people. There's no way 80 million people voted for Biden because they didn't like President Trump's personality. You know, he's a New Yorker. Listen, I dated for a long time a New Yorker, and they're tough. And I mean, some of them are even heartless. Not all, I'm just saying. But Trump will tell it like it is. I mean, he said the S word 4 times at his rally. When have you ever heard a president do that? But he gets things done. He has done more for this country in 4 years than Biden did in 44 years. So be careful. I'm going to say this, and again, Freddie's probably going to lock me up. But you know what? If knowing what I know, and I didn't at least say some, please research this. Maybe make sure you have enough water. Make sure your gas tanks are full. Make sure you have some cash, because that blackout in Pakistan might be happening here soon. So think about it. If we have a blackout here, what do you want to make sure you have? You want to make sure you have water. You want to make sure you have cash. ATM machines will not be working. You want to make sure you have gas. I think there's something else. It's almost like we're preparing for a hurricane. But if it doesn't, food. You make sure you've got food. And if it doesn't happen, you haven't wasted any money. But if something happens, boy, am I going to be a hero, Freddie, if something happens. So, and on our political show, even my co-host doesn't agree with me about a lot of things. But the changes that need to be made, we can't keep going on the same way. And if the Democrats take over, they're going to fill the courts. They are going to, D.C. will become a state, so they'll get 2 more votes. Puerto Rico, same thing. It'll be impossible for the Republicans, even if we start a third party. That's very hard to do. Ask Ross Perot that. Even if a third party is started, it's going to be tough for a Republican to ever get in again. So whatever is done has to be done now, not after the inauguration. Listen, I hope I haven't bored you. If you would like to write me, it's Stephen, Steven, at Ask the Experts Radio Show and give me your thoughts. We'll be on tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Same station. I'll be here with my co-host, Sophia Milona. Everybody have a good evening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with Ask the Experts on Thursday. See ya.
Lewert Law Offices is proud to be the family law expert on the Ask the Expert show. Attorney Tina Lewert is a board-certified specialist in marital and family law. Attorney Lewert is committed to obtaining the best resolution for your divorce or other family law case by consistently providing skilled representation, expert legal advice, and personal attention. Attorney Lewert has developed an excellent reputation for providing effective divorce and family law representation in Boca Raton and the surrounding communities. Lewert Law Offices offers legal advice and representation in a wide range of family law matters, including divorce, child custody, time sharing and visitation, child support, alimony, complex asset distribution, post-judgment modifications, and paternity actions. For expert representation in all aspects of divorce and family law, contact Attorney Tina Lewert today at 561-544-6861 or visit www.lewertlaw.com.